And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at a game called Chocolate Factory. You want to sell a game? Call it Chocolate Factory, right? The idea here is that you're running a factory that makes chocolate, right? Yes. I was excited about this game for 3 reasons. 1, I like the theme. 2, Alley Cat. I really liked their games, especially the last big game they did, which was Dice Hospital. A lot of fun. And 3, the designers of this, Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert, have collaborated on several designs, and while I didn't like all of them, I think they're mostly really well done. They tend to fit that nice medium spot where the games aren't too complex, but you feel like you're doing some cool meaty actions, or chocolatey actions, what have you. So let's put all that together and hope something good comes out. Let's find out. So let's start out by talking about the chocolate. You have cocoa beans, and those can be changed into cocoa. And then cocoa can be put into chunks or fingers. Either one of those can be changed into wrapped caramel or wrapped with nuts candy. And then those can be put into boxes. So there's a hierarchy, and it shows you that hierarchy here in the middle of the table. The game's going to take place over 6 days, Monday through Saturday. Each day, players are going to get a certain amount of coal that they're going to be able to handle. They're going to be attempting to sell different kinds of candies to both small corner stores and to big department stores. As you sell to big department stores, these are two-sided by the way, they're going to want different things. So for example, this wants something that's the same. So if I sell 4 boxes of candy, I'll be able to move my marker 4 spaces on this track. Here, this one wants chunks of chocolate. This one wants caramel, etc. At the end of the game, whoever is the farthest on each of these tracks is going to get a certain amount of money, and the second farthest is going to get money if they're at least half as far as first place and third place, etc. You're also going to get money over the course of the game for selling to small corner stores. So for example, this corner store here wants 2 chunks of chocolate. If I do that, I'm going to get 3. The medium one, you can sell to it twice. The first time you can sell 1 here, and then the second time you sell 2 and get 8. And then the large ones, you're going to sell multiple things, but you're going to get various large amounts of money. You get these right away rather than at the end of the game. Now, each round of the game, players are going to get a certain amount of coal based on what day it is. Then players are going to draft. You're going to take 1 employee from each of the different department stores, and you're also going to take factory parts, 5 of these. You're going to shuffle these up a little bit and put them out in lots. And it depends on how many players are playing the game. So for example, in a 4-player game, I'm going to have 3 single factory parts and then a lot of 2. And then I'll have 3 single people here and a lot of 2. Starting with the first player, you will draft either an employee or you will draft a factory part. Now it's up to you which one you take. If you take the group of 2, you pick one of them and discard the other. So after everyone has picked them, then the last player picks again, but this time you have to pick the thing you didn't pick. So if you picked a factory part, you need to pick an employee. If you picked an employee, you picked a factory part. So after everyone has done this, everyone will have one of these and one of these. These people here are going to do one of 2 things. They give you a special ability here. Like this person says, fulfill 1 stage of a corner shop order using 1 fewer chocolate of your choice. So it gives you a special ability. Sometimes they give you something right away. Like this one here gives you 4 coal. But they also allow you to sell to their department store. That's the only department store you can sell to. Well, not this guy. This guy can sell to anyone. But that's his special ability. So when you draft these, you are thinking about the special ability and do you want to sell to that department store. The factory part, you're going to be sticking in your factory because you're going to be using this to make chocolate better. After everybody is drafted, everyone is going to run their factories at the same time. You have 3 shifts in each day, and the way a shift works is you'll take one of these crates here, you put a bean on it, and you will slide it so the other one knocks off. You keep track here. When there's 3 here, you know that you're done. Then you can run machinery in your factory using the coal that you have. So you'll see, for example, you have 3 machinery printed on the board itself. This one here lets me change a cocoa bean to a cocoa. So I can say, all right, fine. I'll pay 1 coal here to do that. And I take the cocoa bean off and I put cocoa there. And you know what? That's all I'm going to do in shift 1. So then we do shift 2. We slide this across. This comes off the board. Another cocoa beans here. All the coal comes off. I'll say, you know what? I'm going to do that again. I'm going to pay coal here and change this to a cocoa. Now here, this means I can upgrade it one level. So cocoa can change to maybe a bar or chunks. So I say, I'm going to pay a coal here. And so I put one coal there, and I'll change this to chunks. I could have changed chunks to caramel or nuts. I could have changed that to a box. But as time goes by, you're going to have other things in the factory. So let's say I had this here, for example. I could say, ooh, I'm going to spend my last 2 coal here, and I'm going to change this cocoa into a box of chocolates. Then on my 3rd shift, again, another cocoa bean comes in, but I'm out of coal. However, this machinery here, if I want to, I can say, I'm going to send this out of my shop. So now I have this in my storehouse. You can keep 2 things from round to round. You can keep as much coal as you want. You can also turn in chocolate in pieces for coal if you need to, if you're desperately in need of coal. You can shoot them out here down this chute, or you can just wait till they drop off the end. And as time goes by, you're going to be building all sorts of things. Like this one here lets you change. You can box up 1 caramel, or you can turn nuts into 2 boxes, and there's all sorts of things. And in fact, the factory parts is tiered so that as time goes by, the machines get better. You can even replace things. Like this one here lets me upgrade 4 things that are on that tile for 2 coal. At the end of a round, you can take all the stuff in your storehouse and you can sell it. So if I have 2 chunks, I could sell it here for this to this small one and get 3 pounds. If I have a nuts here, or caramel, I could sell that and get money. And if I'm not finished, I just put the marker here to show it, and then next time I can do the 8. You have to do these in order. And whenever you finish one of these, you can draw a new one. You put the finished one here, and the new one could be from any size. You can do small, medium, or large. So this gives you money right away, not to mention whoever does the most corner stores will get 12 pounds at the end of the day. Players can also sell to the department stores of their choice, as long as you have the employee that allows you to do that, and then you move on these tracks. That's pretty much the game. You're going to get some more coal then for the next day, draft more machinery, more employees, and then run 3 more shifts. At the end of Saturday, you'll score each of these cards, give 12 points to whoever has completed the most corner shops, and whoever has the most points is the winner. I really like the components in this game. Normally I try to upgrade components in my games, and this one I don't think I would need to. I mean, it's very distinct. You have the beans, go to cocoa, go to the bars, go to the chunks. You know, the bars and chunks. You have the 2 different wrap candies and the boxes. It just all looks good. There's a lot of iconography in the game, and I always worry about something like that, especially with the different machinery things, but they're pretty easy. So, for example, this one triples a resource. Well, that's pretty easy here. This changes 2 of not any resource, but any of the upgraded resources, but it shows you each one in that pentagon there, and it changes into this. I mean, I didn't find these to be confusing at all. And this just lets you upgrade. Once people understand what they basically do, and I really like the fact that the upgrade path is shown directly here on the board. You know, this to this, to this, one of those 2, to this, one of those 2, to that. And so all this stuff is pretty well done. I think the pictures, the whole aesthetic of the board. At first, I was like, why are we pushing these crates? Why do you need 3 extra crates? Just move them. But then I realized that by dropping these crates off, you remembered your 3 shifts. So overall, just fantastic components. I really liked it. So there you have it. I mean, that is a very fun game for me, this Chocolate Factory. And there are some caveats that I have to it. So first of all, you need to realize there's a certain amount of luck in the game. Especially when you flip over those small, medium, large stores, corner stores. Sometimes you get one and you're like, hey, I already have all this stuff to fulfill this. Or you get one, you're like, oh, that's not how I set my factory up to make that particular kind of chocolate. That is what it is. I don't think it's a huge detractor from the game, but you need to realize that's there. There's also going to be that irritation in the drafting phase where you sit there and go, I really want that card, and someone else took it. Now realize, though, that drafting phase and the fighting for those positions in the department stores is really the only interaction of the game. When you go to your factory phase, you could do it in turn order, but the game recommends that you do it simultaneously, and I agree. You go, you focus, you look at your board, you're like, all right, I'm going to run this, do this, this, okay, next shift, and do this, and next shift, and this, and done. And everyone else is doing the same thing at the same time. If you have people that you're afraid of being cheaters, you probably shouldn't do this with them because they're going to be doing a lot of stuff and no one's really paying attention to anyone else's board. But that being said, I had so much fun doing that. Like if you want a game where you are running an engine, where you are running a machine, this works well. And it's neat because the conveyor belt moves, so you're saying, okay, I'll do this, and then shift 2, move it here, do this, shift 3, move it here, do that. I like that concept, and you're like, oh, so I need to set my machinery up in such a way so that if it moves here, I can do this action and moves here. And as the game goes by, your factory gets bigger and cooler, you get more coal to work with, and so each turn gets successively more interesting. Everyone that I played this with has had a great time with it. Now I have not played it with any die-hard, heavy strategic Eurogame folk, and I'm pretty sure some of them may not like this as much because there is, again, the luck in the way the cards come up. But for me, that keeps it a nice level of this game, you know. The theme doesn't hurt it at all. I mean, the idea of the chocolate factory and the fact that pretty much every single person that you play this with is going to mention Lucille Ball and the episode of I Love Lucy with the chocolate line. But that being said, the idea of turning stuff into chocolate and selling it to stores works, right? It's the conveyor belt thing makes sense in your mind. Like I said, there's a lot of iconography in the game, but it's really simple. You know, I often get on games cases for iconography, but this one makes sense. And then the things that don't make sense, maybe, like the employees, they have text in their card to tell you exactly what they do. The game does not overstay its welcome. It's 6 turns, right? In each turn, you make 2 choices, what you're going to draft, and then where you put the machinery in your factory, and then a whole lot of cool choices on how to run it. And there's some optimization in there too. And I have played a game where I was like, oh, you're still doing your factory. Okay, I'll wait. You done? Okay, let's go. But for the most part, I found that most people will finish at the same time running their factories or very close to it. It's cool. Thematically, it works. Great components. A simple game. I would say once you know what you're doing, it says on here that it's 60 to 90 minutes, but I really think an hour or maybe 70 minutes is a pretty good time frame for this, and you feel involved the whole time, even if you're not necessarily interacting with the other players, doing your own thing. So, great. Another hit for me from Alley Cat Games. Chocolate Factory. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.